rail. We have a way to pay for it. We work to remove politics by essentially creating a semi-autonomous authority to plan, build, and run it. Anti-rail opponents are spreading inaccurate information. We will increase jobs, create economic development, put more money in your pocket, give families more time together. The most important thing about rail, it's not just about the transit system. It's about the transit-oriented development, which will change the way we use our lands and create our future and how we build for generations to come. Done correctly, by the year 2050, if you're willing to look that long into the future, you will realize that we cannot fail to have rail, because we will be losing billions of dollars of money. We will be using essentially billions and billions of dollars in excessive fuel costs. All of those things will take a dramatic turn, and you'll learn a lot more about that happily in about 2 or 3 days when a couple of the experts here will tell you we're the place to do it. Rail.
Thank you. What happens if not all the federal money comes through, or if the project runs substantially over budget, or if tax revenue is lower than expected? Will you raise taxes to cover the shortfall?
That's 3 questions. No, I will not raise taxes to cover the shortfall. 1, do we anticipate it running? Could you give me the first part of that again?
Well, it will be, if not all the federal money comes through.
Okay, that's a hypothetical that I don't agree with. If Senator Daniel Inouye says the only thing that will stop the federal funds from coming through is World War III, I agree with that 100%, and he's absolutely accurate. But if anybody can bring money to Honolulu, Hawaii, and has a history of doing it, it's Dan Inouye, so it's a good idea to put your confidence in that. But you also have the confidence of the President, as well as the DOT, the Department of Transportation, the United States Department of Transportation head, Ray LaHood, the Secretary, and as well as the FDA Administrator, Peter Rogoff, all of which I have an established relationship with. They are 100% in support of this project, not only the building of it, but the paying for it, and they're confident that that can be done.
What if it runs?
Peter, you, in answer to a question by a reporter, and the question was, what would you do if the rail funds did not materialize? And you said, I would plow forward. Now let me ask you, how are you going to plow forward without raising taxes? Because you've already raised taxes with that $450 million line of credit. I mean, it's the taxpayers who pay for that.
No, it's not a line of credit. What it is it's essentially a test of whether the city is financially sound. But in other words, they're looking to see where are we in terms of our capacity, are we doing well, are we in a good shape financially? And the answer is we have a very healthy bucket of money that we can go into without violating any of the guidelines that are surrounding us. But frankly, we have to go forward because that's what's required to be done by the statute. I follow the law. I believe that because that's what I did as a prosecutor. Right now it's been voted for, it's on the books, and we are to create a steel wheel on steel rail system. I got that right after 4 trials. And essentially what that's going to do is it's not contingent on getting us federal funds. Now it may be a very different system than what we have right now. We may have to scale back on how far it goes. We may have to take more time to ultimately end up building it, but frankly, we've got the money to do it with the GVT taxes. We've got it right now, and in terms of federal funds, we already know that Senator Inouye has virtually guaranteed it. So the answer is we're on track and on target right now, and we did the smart thing of moving forward, and it's being built right now as we speak. The structure's going up into the air. All good news. He once accused Senator Daniel Inouye of such limited vision that he could only see the trees and not the forest. And because of that, Senator Inouye overlooked the following facts. Rail is likely to cost $7 billion. It will be ugly. It is obsolete. It is a monstrosity. Do you also feel that President Barack Obama, who presumably holds a certain degree of aloha for Honolulu since he was born and raised here, suffered a similar lack of vision when he included $250 million in the White House budget for rail?
Senator Inouye, let me back up. I asked him to explain to me why he was for rail. I also explained to him why I was against rail. He never answered. Senator Inouye has been listening to the government. He's never listened to the people who have concerns. Senator Inouye is up at the 30,000-foot level, dealing with national and international affairs. The senator should take time to go down to McDonald's and talk to the retirees who go there to eat breakfast because it's cheap. You know, he's out of touch as far as I'm concerned. I respect Senator Noe, he's done a lot for our country and for our state, but we shouldn't defer to him. We respect him, but not defer. The only thing that's audit plans, he had elected to make decisions.
Kirk, do you believe with Senator Noe when he stated that the only thing that will stop rail from getting the full funding grant agreement this fall is World War III?
Well, as I said, when we were all out at the Kiewit facility, I said Dan Inouye has delivered for 50 years. He went to Washington at statehood, and he's been delivering every year in and year out. And I believe when he says he's going to get the money, he will get the money because he's always gotten the money.
Step in and tell other people how to deal with their children. I think it was important for kids to go where they want to go, so I think I'd leave that to their parents. But what I tell them is what's the most important thing for the future of their generation, their children's generation, and generation to come. It's the development that will occur along the transit corridor. Transit is not in and of itself an end, but the combination of transit with the redistribution of how we tax land and how land is built, that's going to end up being something that's a project for decades and for children and grandchildren. So once you understand all of the ramifications of what happens when you stretch it out to 2050, and those kids will be around, they'll be adults by then, and see what the advantages that they will get. You'll be getting this within the next week. You will see exactly why it will ultimately end up increasing revenues for the city, it will be increasing jobs, and it will be increasing their opportunities to move around freely without having the kind of stifling traffic that we have right now. It'll be particularly helpful for people who have
Thank you.